More than 70 trade ministers and as many national interests ensured some tough battles over reshaping the rules of international commerce. The only certain point of agreement that reform is crucial to avert all-out trade wars, and respect for an opportunity to reverse the dangerous trends of rising government subsidies coupled with shrinking markets that have created vast trade imbalances. But domestic interests mean serious disagreements. Over agricultural subsidies, the European community clashes with other major grain exporters. Developing countries who need trade to boost their economies and repay massive debts were given a voice through the GATT president and Uruguay's foreign minister, Julio Sanguinetti. Some, like Brazil and India, have proposed their own draft agenda, which has the United States threatening to leave. Another voice, this time South Korea.
Countries should, of course, be fully reflected in the process of adopting our trading system to meet new challenges.
It was another day of negotiations at the GATT conference, with France threatening to pull out if farm subsidies are removed. The French insist that the subsidies are important and want them included on the agenda, although 60 other countries want them phased out. As well as farm subsidies, another worrying obstacle is the question of services. India and Brazil say they won't open their markets to competition from wealthy countries. Less developed nations are afraid that any international trade rules would benefit only the industrialized world. More than 50 nations support free trade in agriculture, better market access for investments, and stronger protection for things like trademarks and copyrights. Another major issue facing the conference is Japan's huge trade surplus, which this year looks to exceed $100 billion. The Japanese are accused of endangering world trade by flooding the market with their products. The conference finishes this weekend, and delegates hope that any differences will be ironed out by then.
Members of the press tried to get more details from officials, but they were politely rebuffed. The answers non-committal and the wording vague. That's no surprise. GATT itself is a cumbersome bureaucratic muddle, and each of the 94 nation delegations disagreed on what to do next. In the end, it came down to semantics and a conflict between developed nations and the third world. India was worried that service industries, that's banking, insurance and communications, would now be the focus rather than areas which did not benefit from government subsidies. In these areas, the more developed nations and their established industries would come out better. This GATT conference was only held to decide what to include on the agenda for the next series of meetings. When they're held, it's likely that discussions will be thorough, with protectionist policies and government trade incentives coming under close scrutiny.
Here in Punta del Este, it would not be appropriate for that to occur.